The reason I wanted to post this is so that nobody else will make the mistake that I almost made. A few years ago, like usual, I was sleeping in my bedroom, which is on the bottom floor. I woke abruptly in the middle of the night to the sound of rushing water coming from somewhere upstairs. I didn't know what it was, but because I like to sleep with no noise and it was bothering me, I reluctantly got up out of bed and went upstairs. I could see the bathroom at the end of the upstairs hallway. The lights were off, but the door was slightly ajar and I could see that the faucet was fully turned on. I walked down the hallway, preparing to enter the room, turn the faucet off and shut the door, and then go back to bed. But right in front of the door, I started to get this creepy feeling, like something was wrong, and I shouldn't go in there. It was almost that feeling you get when someone's watching you. So instead of going in the room, I quietly but quickly made my way back downstairs and went into the bedroom and locked the door. I called 911, whispering, and told them that there could have been an intruder in my house. They told me to stay on the line and stay in my bedroom. A few moments later, possibly the scariest thing that's ever happened to me happened. I heard creaking and footsteps, like someone was walking downstairs, and then I heard doors opening in the house like someone was searching for me. I knew if they tried my bedroom door and found out it was locked, then they would know I was in there. I started crying and then I moved into the very back of my closet, hiding behind some clothes, as far away as I could get. The officer told me to stay calm and use anything available as a weapon, just in case. Thankfully, he must have left shortly after because I didn't hear anything else after that. About 10 minutes later, the police arrived. The police did a full search and there was no sign of him at all. He was gone. I'm completely fine now, but I still cringe when thinking about what might have happened if I would have went into the bathroom that night. I'm confident that he was standing behind the door, and who knows what he would have done if he had the opportunity to jump me. It's unlikely, but if anyone else finds himself in a situation like this, always go with your gut. I decided to play scared that night, and it probably saved my life. I was about 11 years old, and it was past midnight, 12:30 AM to be exact. My parents were asleep, but my cousin, who was 18 at the time, was still up. I had to take out the trash, so I brought my dog Berry with me. He was mostly black with a few white spots, always alert and always by my side. The trash can was only a 30-second walk from the front door. I tossed the bag in, then turned around and called for Berry, but there was nothing. No footsteps, no tags jingling, just silence. I turned on my flashlight and looked around. He wasn't there. Confused, I started walking back towards the house. That's when I heard it. Heavy, fast, pounding footsteps coming up behind me. I whipped around and saw something I'll never forget. Charging at me was something completely black, darker than the night around it, like it absorbed light itself. A massive black figure running straight at me. It wasn't a dog or a pig or a horse, but somehow it looked like all three. Its body was wrong, just wrong. Its movement too fast, too heavy. It made no sound except for the thunder of its steps. No matter how fast I ran, it always felt like it was 2 steps behind me. This feeling of dread and fear instantly shot through me as I sprinted to the door, heart racing, flung it open and slammed it shut behind me. I sat there on the floor, gasping, just trying to process what had just happened. Then it hit me. I left Berry outside. I start crying as I think of what that thing could have done to my innocent dog. I was scared to death, but I couldn't leave him out there, so I stood up ready to go back out to find him, heart racing, until Berry came walking toward me from his kennel inside the house. Calm and normal, he had never left the house. He was inside the whole time. Whatever I called to out there, it wasn't my dog. I was about 16 at the time, still living at home deep in the mountains of my family's cottage. I frequently walked to the woods surrounding my home, but never really went that far out, either out of lack of curiosity or simply because I was lazy. One evening, I decided to take a flashlight and walk as far as I comfortably could walk into the valley behind my property. There's a large amount of deer, bears and other animals near where I live, so I also brought some bear spray. I was about 25 minutes into my walk when I started to get an uneasy feeling like I was incredibly vulnerable or that I wasn't alone. I shrugged it off because I probably wasn't alone. I mean, there is a lot of wildlife in the forest, so it's not like I can just expect to be alone. I neared the creek that flowed around our property and noticed some garbage and some pots and pans next to the water, as well as what looked like a tattered sleeping bag and some shoes. I didn't think much of it and continued my walk thinking about it every now and then, wondering if someone was camping out near our house. It was almost completely dark out now, so I turned around and began walking home. I kept glancing over my shoulder back towards the creek, worried someone might be behind me. After about 5 or 6 minutes of walking in the pitch black, I heard some branches snap a little ways behind me. My blood ran cold and I felt my heart skip a beat. I turned around and spent a minute just shining my flashlight in every direction, wondering if a deer or, God forbid, a bear was following me. Once I felt sure that nothing was there, I kept on walking. Not even a minute after, I heard running footsteps trampling behind me. I didn't even turn to look at what it was or who it was, I just began running as fast as I could. I'm pretty sure I called out, pleading with whatever it was, or whoever it was, to stop. I was still about 15 minutes away from home. I desperately sprinted through the trees trying to keep my flashlight pointed forward so I didn't trip or fall. I kept pleading and screaming, hoping whatever it was would just give up, but I kept hearing footsteps stomping behind me and branches being snapped off the trees violently. I heard pained grunting and what sounded like someone violently growling. I began crying out of fear, tears filling my eyes. As I ran, it sounded like they were right behind me, almost like they could reach out and grab me. I heard one loud growl right behind me, as whatever it was seemed to have fallen or slipped up. I kept sprinting and never dared to look back. I eventually stopped hearing the running behind me once I made it to the property line, the light of my house in the distance ahead of me. I turned to see if I was still being followed. What I saw still torments me even now. A freakishly tall man was standing about 100 yards from me, my flashlight only barely illuminating him. He was wearing what looked like a tattered hoodie and no pants. I stood there for a moment, struck with fear, waiting to see if he would move. As I was about to turn away and run the last stretch to my house, he started sprinting viciously towards me. He was almost on all fours, using the trees to propel himself further, grabbing at the ground, lunging towards me. I let out a scream and ducked under my fence, and sprinted as fast as I could to my house. By the time I got there, I was completely out of breath, my throat hurt and my knees were sore. I shined the light back towards the woods and saw the man at the fence, waving at me, his tall and slender figure towering over the fence. I quickly made my way inside and locked all the doors. I woke my dad up and told him about what had just happened. I don't remember exactly what he did about it, if he called the cops or just let it be, but I don't think anyone else ever saw the guy again. I still never go out into the woods alone or any time near dark, and I certainly stay away from the creek. I don't know if he's still out there, but I do know that if he caught up to me, I might not be telling this story today.